14 of 2022. The board's meetings are being held both in person here at Town Hall and by video conference through Zoom webinar. The link to participate in this meeting via Zoom can be found on the town's website at the town clerk's agendas and meetings portal. You can also watch the live stream video and submit written comments for the public record through the town website. As a reminder, if you wish to speak at the meeting, please state your name and hamlet of residence for the record. And also, I'm going to do my best to share the digital documents if you sent me any up on the screen here. So if you want to give me any direction as to what you want me to show, then that would be great. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rump, the Vice Chair, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Rump.
Very welcome, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Jankowski, the Board Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Keys.
Here.
Mr. Burke.
Here.
Ms. Albert.
Here.
Mr. Rump.
Here.
Mr. Charrier.
Here.
And myself. So we have a
And
full quorum.
Mr. Leonard is via Zoom.
He is not on Zoom.
He's not on Zoom. Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a quorum then. Did the board members review the minutes of the September 6th meeting?
Yes.
You did,
Yes.
all right. Are there any errors or omissions?
None.
None? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion.
Motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Is there any old business to come before the board? If none, then we'll just proceed with the published agenda. The first item on the agenda is Lewis Road, PRD. This is in East Quogue. Is the applicant available?
Good morning, Tony Panza, architect, one of the architects for Lewis Road PRD project. I'm here along with a number of other individuals that represent the project. And so we can start by, I think some of the drawings might have been reviewed in a previous hearing 2 ago. At that time, we didn't have samples, and I think the digital files didn't have a landscape plan in it. So we're ready to present those items.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Might be easiest, since I'm not entirely certain which order the drawings are in up there. As Kelly can flip through, I can stop and we can go over some appropriate items.
Okay, I just want to stop you. Since some of the board members that are present now were not at your first presentation, if you want to go over just the overall of the project, I think that would be helpful.
Okay. Big picture.
Yes, just the big picture, I think that's enough.
Big picture might be better for should have had Wayne DeBruin here for that one, but I will try to go through the big picture. The big picture is the development of the Lewis Road project, which entails housing. Along with the housing, there is a golf course, there is a clubhouse, there is facilities that are associated with the golf course, including a turf care facility, which maybe you've seen before. I probably would have presented on another golf course. There is also a housing requirement that was put forth by the town, so you'll see images of that housing project. And there are a number of other amenity buildings associated with the clubhouse area of the project. Probably going through the drawings will help out, and Teddy and I will jump back and forth. But while you have it up, I'll run through it. The first few drawings that you're going to see are plans for the clubhouse. So you have a basement plan here, a first floor plan, if you can click through, and a second floor plan. Hopefully the elevations show up next. So with the elevations showing up, I'm going to have Teddy come up, and we have some of the samples here, and we can run through We can also throw drawings up on the table in case the images are a little bit too far away, just let us know.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you all. Teddy McCarthy with Hart Howerton Architects, along with Tony, one of the architects on the project, and our firm is specifically responsible for the clubhouse structure, as well as some of the smaller amenity structures that we'll look at today. So we're happy to answer any specific questions, but just from a broad perspective, we've tried to establish a language of architecture consistent with the Hampton shingle style vernacular. We're working through traditional building materials like you see in front of you in the brick veneer and the cedar shake and bluestone, but then also making sure that we're building to last. So the large piece of composite material being used in lieu of traditionally painted wood. And we've also represented two of the window sample colors there. You see there's actually, in fact, a white and a dark bronze or black. We'll be using both those window materials in a clad product throughout the various amenity structures. And then finally, there's a small awning sample as well, as we'll be implementing some fabric awnings throughout the building as well. We're trying to build on traditional residential architecture in the area, but also I think a great tradition of clubs. Our firm has been responsible for a number of them, including West Hampton and Sabonic and Atlantic. So I think we're trying to build on that tradition and put a building together, particularly in the clubhouse, that we feel is appropriate for the place. Happy to click through the additional smaller amenity structures, just because I think you'll see that they identify a similar language. So the pro shop structure is actually immediately adjacent to the clubhouse. There's a continuous podium or continuous basement beneath it. It's very consistent, obviously a slightly smaller scale adjacent to the building, but utilizing the shingle walls and shake roof and painted trim, brick chimney. And all those same elements being used with gable roofs, traditional shed dormers, appropriately, in our opinion, scaled eave overhangs and rake overhangs, and some pilaster and trim details that are simplified but still proportionate. Beyond the pro shop structure, if we just keep going through there, this is a small pool bar structure. Again, similar simple architectural language here, introducing some opportunities to perhaps bring in some different uses of the cedar shake or patterns that we're considering, but again, all are sort of steeped in historical context. And then from the pool bar building, we move into a couple of the other accessory structures. So the gatehouse, intentionally, along with one section of the main clubhouse, we're looking to explore an alternative trim color. This is shown in a green on the pool house. On the wing of the clubhouse. The potential for a historical blue. Those exact colors are a little bit TBD, but we can certainly share them with the group. This is really seen as more of kind of a hunter green and can identify a Benmore palette for it. But because it's so in the trees and that entry experience, we wanted it to perhaps blend a bit more than with the white trim. Again, the brick and the shingle being consistent across all of those structures. And then finally, as we move into these structures, you'll see a little bit of departure. These smaller structures are spread out throughout the golf course, or what we folded as little comfort stations, restroom areas. So we've tried to take a bit more of a rustic, natural approach with these, being as though they'll be, really intimately intertwined with the pine barrens. So here you'll see a vertical board in more of a reclaimed material, and then utilizing some standing seam metal roof as well. So this structure in particular, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to remember. There's two very similar, so my apologies. There's both the trail house and the field, excuse me, the field house and the trail house, and the farm stand that we've referred to, which all have a very similar aesthetic, given the fact that they're more of outbuildings out on the property. So you'll see similar use of traditional roof forms, large windows, but still traditional in proportion, and still utilizing the brick chimneys here as well. What you can see, obviously, on these drawings is, from a plan perspective, the use of the bluestone pretty consistently in terms of the flat work for the terraces. That one's almost hard to tell the difference between it and the one before. And then finally, this is the one departure, which is indicated as a small sort of folly, if you will. It's adjacent to a pond that's being used. It's not intended necessarily to be used to be habitable, but more of kind of something that's visual as you come around that pond. So we looked at a flat roof, more of a simplified structure that we thought was appropriate for, space around the pond there. But same utilization of the exterior materials and windows that we identified in those other outbuildings.
John is here, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think that gets through the clubhouse and amenity structures that our team's responsible for. And Tony, if you want to go into a bit more detail on yours. Thank you.
Put this up here in case we can't have 2 minutes up at the same time, and I'll run through this in a moment. Do you have the file with the, no? There should
The
have been a-
landscape plan?
No.
No.
This should have
Another
been the file that, in addition to the last one that you had, that had the amenity buildings?
I don't have that. Let's see. Do you have hard copies of it with you?
Larger one.
Larger one?
Go back to the mic and I'll start describing what you have there in front.
You can actually sit at the table and use the mic on the table.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Or
Whoever.
it feels like we're from Wizard of Oz.
That's what I was gonna say.
Just be careful of the plans hitting the mic.
I'll try to flip over both of them. The buildings that I'm going to run through are down towards they're separated from the clubhouse, the buildings that Teddy was just mentioning, and from the residence. They're down towards the entrance into the property. They're separated out have landscape drawing with a berm and a lot of plantings. And the idea with these, different from the buildings that Teddy was describing, is that these are looked at as being farmhouses. So that you'll see that the aesthetic is slightly different. We're going to be using vertical board and batten, and we're going to be keeping with with some of the, let's say, farmhouses that you may have seen in the area, or there's actually some still that are in neighboring properties that are around this. The basements under each of the buildings, won't go into too much on there. So here's some, this is what's called the admin operations building. This is mainly for staff. You can see a lot of, it has the vertical board and batten. This would be done in a hardy plank so that it's going to last. The roof is a standing seam metal roof, and the windows are 6/1s, and they're black. There's a lot of overhead covered porches in these areas to somewhat bring the scale down, but all these buildings are residential size. They're all under 32 feet in height, and you can see a lot of work with the roof lines to just make these. Although they're they're not for housing. Although they're for commercial, they're intended to not look that way. The next drawing here is, it's part of the turf care. So this is what they're going to utilize for this building here, actually for the storage of chemicals and other equipment for the golf course. This is what's called an environmental center, so that there's a roof over this, and all of these slabs are designed to be fully contained. This is a vertical batten, but it's not the hardy plank. This is a metal. It's in the same color to match the other building that you'll see in a moment. But again, these are intended to be outback houses. So you would have had the primary farmhouse, and then behind it you would have had the farm buildings that accrued over time. Excuse the pile of drawings. So again, some covered shed roofs coming out, the vertical seam, the metal roof, all to match the other building. And then I'm going to go to, this is the workforce housing and similar materials that you've seen before for the vertical white hardy and the standing seam metal roof. These, just to make it a little bit easier for you to see, a landscape plan provided here where the labeling of Eden Path would be the road coming in, and there's a landscaped berm, associated trees and plantings, and then these facilities are located behind. And then the workforce housing is the first building here, the admin operations, and then the turf and the environmental that we showed, those are behind. I think everyone can picture the hardy and the standing seam and the windows, but there's some smaller pieces here so that everything is in the same color family.
Can we just explain where Lewis Road is compared to where that is?
Yeah. It might be, could you flip through up there? You can go back one.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, back,
Really?
back one.
That's the first one.
No, that's up by the clubhouse.
Let's see. I'll keep going through. Hold on.
So if you, you were there.
Right there.
You were
This
there.
one? No?
Nope. There you go.
Okay.
So, where the angle is to the right, where it has been cut off, is where the main road would be, and then the entrance coming in, you can see the entrance. I wish I could point to it or had to point it. Oh, I do.
Right here?
There you go.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's not
Right
working
here?
on the screen. Yep,
Oh.
there you go. Yeah, the pointer isn't working up to there. So they'd be coming in off on that road, and deliveries and everything would be going in behind the berm and the plantings, and then the residents would be continuing on up the road. So in terms of proximity to the main road, there's not much of a view from there.
Okay, does that conclude your presentation?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Mr. Jankowski is the lead board member on this project, and would you give us your comments and approval?
Right, so for our notes from the last one, we wanted to see the storyboard, that was it,
Yeah.
because it was kind of like the colors on the plans. So you presented the storyboard. Colors go along with, harmonious with the area. I know Lewis Road, where you have the other farmhouses and the other farms that are there. They did a good job. Again, we're not gonna be able to see it. You're doing the berm with the landscaping, so I'm taking that almost like you're doing, like on 31, the way we did the berms for those buildings and stuff like that that are by the airport. So they take that into consideration too, that you're not gonna be able to see. Plus, there's some wooded area that's still a little bit that's there, as well, that's current, that's there.
Correct.
I guess the only other one would be, that I wrote was the gatehouse, and you made that look like, we have the horse farm across the street, you made it look like, even Edmund's farm, the Deniszewski farm that's down the road, so I didn't really have a problem. That's the one thing that we're gonna see, out by the road.
Difficult, so it would be further left on that drawing.
Oh, so the gatehouse is even in further?
Yes.
Oh,
So
I didn't
the,
see that.
so the deliveries can go in and be made without going through the
Oh,
gatehouse.
so that's what you're doing. Okay, so then, that's just gonna be a road going in.
Yep, and it
kinda
should
like
be at the
way
next-
Friar's Head does it, where you can't, it's just a driveway that goes in?
Try the next slide. Nope, it jumps too far. Sorry.
Okay, all right, no problem, I didn't know that, I thought that was gonna be out by the road, so then it's just a driveway, you're gonna have some plantings that are out by the road driveway?
Yeah, so that, if you go back one, it doesn't really help you much because but that little tiny structure in the upper right, that is the house, the entry gatehouse. And to the right of it, see where the road starts to angle down? That would then connect to the drawing we were previously looking at.
I got you.
So it's that far in.
It is that far in, so
Yeah.
we're not even gonna see that then, all right. Okay. All right, other than that, I don't have any other comments,
Okay.
I don't have any issues either.
Right. Okay, Mr. Rump, comments?
I don't have any issues, Mr. Chairman.
And the landscaping is going to be in?
Yep.
Okay,
I think
fine.
they do a fine job.
Okay, great. Ms. Keys, comments?
Yeah. Are we approving the administrative offices or the entire project?
You're approving the buildings that we've presented. So it would be the
Okay,
clubhouse,
so we're
those
n-
amenity buildings, the admin, the housing that I showed you, the workforce housing.
The workforce housing.
Yes.
How many, my only concern is when you do square footage that's this massive, it changes the tenor of a community. And it's really important to take into consideration that this means that other ones are available to happen when this occurs. You know what I mean? So we have to just be sure that it looks really beautiful, but it's the scale that's concerning. How many people in the workforce housing, how many availability is that? What's the size of that building?
So the workforce housing is actually not for Discovery employees. The workforce housing is part of the town planning board process of saying, please provide this. And it would be along the same lines of, what was the latest project that came through? Where people, generally it goes to a lottery, and those that are firemen or policemen or librarians
Oh,
have.
so it's not housing for people that work on the project?
Correct.
Is that similar to, say, Sandy Hollow and those
Yes.
areas? Right.
Yeah, that would have been probably the last one.
So how many units are in workforce housing?
12.
12?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, thank you. And, okay, that's what I wanted to know. I have no more questions.
Okay. Mr. Burke, comments?
No comments, no.
Miss Albert, comments?
No.
Okay, and I have no comments. I think it's a very nice project. I think it's, for the area, I think you've designed it quite well, and it'll fit in, and
Thank you.
I agree with everything Mr. Jankowski said. Okay, fine. A transmittal letter will be sent to the planning board regarding our comments on this project.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Good
Thank you.
presentation, Tony.
Right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to get comments from Mr. Leonard. Yeah. Excuse me, Mr. Leonard? You're on Zoom, and I totally, my mistake, I forgot to ask you for your comments. Yeah.
Easy, Charlie.
Yeah.
See him up in the corner.
Yeah, I see him up in the corner, but we can't hear you.
Just give a thumbs up.
Yeah. You're all right with the project?
I don't see him.
Way up in the corner.
Oh,
Yeah, he's fine. He gave a thumbs up, so that's it. That'll be added into the transmittal letter also.
Have a good day. everybody.
Right.
Yep.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Love you to come out and see it after it's all done.
Yeah, love to. Next on the agenda is Doris Fanning, 88 West Montauk Highway. Is the applicant here? Yeah, this is the second time we're going through
This was
this.
all that, the beginning of September.
Is this a planning board issue, or is
Yeah,
this?
yes, it is.
Was this a?
It's like a single-family residence.
I know, but it came,
On, like, next to where the, it's like across the street from the firehouse.
yeah,
It's on the west side, the north side of, or west
That's
side
right, I
of?
think it is. As soon as that picture comes back on,
Sorry.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
yeah.
So this one?
Yep, then go left and right.
Excuse me?
what did you?
John Lennon to say something.
Oh,
Oh,
All right, so stop right there. So you see the white building? That's the antique shop
Yes.
yeah,
that actually just burned. So we were in front of that house when we were setting up. So that house is right next to it, almost directly across from the firehouse.
In Hampton Bays?
Yep.
Okay.
Is where I'm
I know
pretty
what you mean.
You know, right? Isn't that what that is? If I
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
Scale that up?
yes.
Was that also where a chiropractor was?
Oh, you're going way back. then. I
Neil,
don't
somebody?
remember that.
Yeah.
yeah, that was,
Wow.
that was a long time ago.
I
just
think I
wanna make sure
remember
I'm
that.
an old
That is
man,
right.
what
Yeah,
can I
that's because
say?
See the wood? Yeah, you see the wood on it? So
Yeah.
yeah, that was,
Oh.
that's recently taken. Yup. Yeah, that was
Alright.
boarded up.
I don't know whether it's commercial?
No, I think it is
It's a
commercial, that's
commercial
why.
application?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what it does.
Let's see what they want to do.
Is there a site plan?
Or what is it that it's in front of us for?
They're changing some of the windows, I believe.
Oh,
What?
no. I know, I guess, west.
That's
of here
existing.
well. Once we get across the canal, then I look for you guys to help me out.
Existing.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
We know every restaurant, don't worry about it.
right,
Anything that side of the canal, I'm pretty good.
Exactly.
right,
That looks like a whole new building, no? No?
yeah.
Says existing chimney to remain. Looks like everything else is.
It looks exactly like the
I
last.
know Paul Clinton, but why wouldn't he have been here?
Yeah, I don't,
I don't know.
'Cause
And I don't know what
he's
they're
local.
asking to-
He
what are
lives
they
in
asking to
Hampton
do?
Bays.
don't know.
Hard to tell.
Well, we can hold it over
Hold
until the
over.
next meeting.
Well, all right, I was gonna say, is there a
Because-
planner that's on this, or no? That can at least just give
No
us what it is?
information.
No, we don't have it.
And none of us brought it to the board, right?
Right, none of us
No.
brought it to the board, and it's been on as a site plan review for 2
Yeah, I
meetings.
mean, look, it's still
Okay.
saying bedroom, it's not like it's a,
Yeah, that's why we need more info on
Was
this.
anyone here last time for it?
No?
I know that we
Were,
didn't have a
we
meeting, but,
didn't- I think we might have had the same,
But they,
oh,
we asked if they were here. I don't think we had even any of this.
no,
But I don't even think we had electronic stuff either, right?
Yeah.
right, because the last meeting, they had requested a delay until the next meeting, which is today.
is Patty on Zoom?
She is, I don't believe Patty is in. She is?
Does she have any information on this?
That's a good.
We have to hold
good
it over
source.
anyway, but,
That's a good source.
well,
Okay.
we'll have to,
Well,
I'll
we'll-
look into it and find out for, oh, she's coming.
Say something, Patty? Getting no volume.
Oh,
Oh, I'll talk to Patty and find out who the planner is and get some more information before
okay.
the next meeting.
So then if there's no objection, we'll hold this over until the next meeting?
Uh-huh.
No objection.
Okay, fine, thank you very much. Any further business to come before the board? If
Make a
none,
motion
to adjourn, yes. Motion is made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Charles.
Thanks, Charles.
Thanks.